because they accuse me of doing stuff that I never did in my life, and they wrote lies, and I will not allow that. I will fight till the end, because I don't want that they damage my reputation and my name. You know, the language is inappropriate. It's not acceptable.
I look at the Democrats, they're in total disarray.
But I just want to remind the viewers, his wife herself, a former nude model, got the Einstein visa to come over here, completely usurped the immigration system. What was her unique talent, I wonder, that she was able to get that?
Did they ever check the background of these women? They don't have any facts. And surprised me also because every story, it's a female. It's a female reporter.
They have a new person named Crockett. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. And what that stands for is an Einstein visa. Now, y'all that don't know,
I came to United States, to New York, in 1996.
1996 is the year she stands by. In numerous other publications, that's when she came to the U.S. But these photos were snapped in New York City in 1995, according to the author of her recent biography. So what difference does a year make? Possibly the difference between Mrs. Trump breaking immigration law or not. To understand why, listen to Melania Trump's own words.
I came here on visa. I flew to Slovenia every few months to stamp it, and came back, applied for green card, and then after a few years for citizenship. I obeyed the law. I did it the right way. I didn't just sneak in and stay here. So I think that's what people should do.
Trump insists she got her visa stamped every few months. If that's accurate, it would mean she had a type of visa, possibly a tourist visa, that needs to be updated periodically. But that type of visa does not allow working in the United States. The type of visa that does allow work is called H-1B. And the man who discovered Melania tells he didn't sponsor her for an H-1B until 1996, a year after this racy photo shoot. But there's a caveat. The photographer behind the camera at the shoot, Yar Ale de Bosville, says Melania was a young model waiting for a big break, so she didn't get paid, which would mean she didn't violate any immigration laws.
We were making this kind of magazine to have exposure, and this exposure was bringing you to the next level to have catalog, campaign, and everything.
So Melania was not paid for this photo shoot, you say?
No. Nobody's paying. Nobody's paid.
If that non-paid photo shoot was the only work she did before getting an H-1B visa, she wouldn't have broken any laws. It's a sentiment she expressed in her Cleveland Convention speech.
I was very proud to become citizens of the United States.
Did they ever check the background of these women? They don't have any facts. And surprised me also because every story, it's a female. It's a female reporter. I didn't expect media will be so dishonest and so mean. I didn't expect that. Also for me, from the beginning, I never had one correct story, one honest story. From New York Post, 2 days in a row, they put me on the cover with the pictures that I did many, many years ago as a model. I'm very proud I did those pictures. I'm not ashamed of my body. I feel very comfortable with myself and with my body. And they were taken for a European French magazine. And in Europe, we are proud of bodies, no matter what size you are. And it was done as an art, as a celebration of female body. So they put it twice in a row. In that story, they put the date when pictures were taken wrong. They never called me when the pictures were taken, and suddenly it becomes, I'm here illegally, I was married before. I said yeah, find me the husband that I was married before my husband. So there were a lot of dishonest stuff. And that surprised me, that they will not check the facts and that reporters will just write. And surprised me also because every story, it's a female reporter. And that's why when they went too far on the website, one of the websites and newspapers, and the blogger as well, I said, this is it. I will fight for myself. I will fight for my name. They cannot damage my name and my reputation because it's not true. And the names that they're calling me, they're calling my husband, they're calling my family, it's unacceptable. I'm very strong, I'm very confident, and I live my life. I take care of myself and of our son and my husband, and I'm doing great.
Each year, thousands of foreigners try to persuade government officials that they are among the best in their field. The prize, if they succeed, a green card, and with it the right to live permanently in the United States. Reports that the First Lady, Melania Trump, received an immigrant visa reserved for individuals with extraordinary ability in 2001 when she was a model have thrust the EB-1 visa program into the spotlight. The news, first reported by the Washington Post, raised questions about whether Mrs. Trump had truly qualified for the visa. But several immigration lawyers rebuffed those questions, saying the requirements for the EB-1 immigrant visa leave far more room for interpretation than its nickname and its best and brightest reputation suggest. While the program may be the pinnacle of the merit-based immigration policies supported by critics of the visa lottery and family-based migration, indeed, by President Trump himself, the decision of what constitutes merit while based on established criteria is ultimately subjective and often surprising. Recipients are supposed to be the best of the best, said Rita Sostrin, a Los Angeles-based lawyer who has written extensively about EB-1s. But meeting the criteria is no guarantee. An adjudication officer makes a judgment call. The extraordinary ability immigrant visa category is one of the few visas for which an applicant does not require an employer or family sponsor. Only 5,530 people received a green card through that program in the fiscal year that ended in September 2016, the latest for which data is available. Out of some 1 million issued, in 2001, when Mrs. Trump got hers, even fewer were granted. Marshall Cohen, a lawyer in Atlanta who specializes in EB-1s for world-ranked track and field athletes, said that he would not have hesitated to represent Mrs. Trump. I am assuming she made a lot of money, got a lot of press, and was on the cover of magazines. He said she was probably a pretty easy case. Mrs. Trump, then Melania Knaus, appeared on the cover of British GQ in 2000, the year she petitioned for the EB-1, and was featured in Sports Illustrated and other magazines later that year. Do we need more foreign fashion models? Some might say no, said Mr. Cohen, who led a panel titled Proving Extraordinary Ability is Extraordinarily Challenging at a recent immigration lawyers conference. We might need more chemical engineers, but if there is a fashion model at the top of her field, she could qualify. Petitioners for the EB-1, which was created as part of the Immigration Act of 1990, face a two-part test. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services first must determine whether a candidate has presented evidence to satisfy 3 out of 10 criteria, such as publishing material in professional publications or other major media, appearing in artistic exhibitions, or commanding a high salary. Once those are met, the decision comes down to a vague and undefined final merits determination by the immigration agency. That is the mystery. Nobody knows what it is, said Ms. Sostrin, the lawyer in Los Angeles, who recently secured EB-1s for an award-winning stunt performer and a high-end events planner. What is clear is that extraordinary intelligence is not necessary nor sufficient on its own to get one. Indeed, even Albert Einstein might have not qualified for an EB-1 before winning the Nobel Prize. A few years ago, Ms. Sostrin distributed a resume to immigration lawyers at a conference without revealing that it was Einstein's, or at least one devised from his career accomplishments. Ms. Sostrin asked them to assess the likelihood that he would be approved for an extraordinary ability visa. The consensus was that it would be very challenging. The resume for a tutor and patent examiner turned professor listed only a handful of the most important scientific works Einstein had published by 1920, more than a decade into his academic career. The notion that you somehow have to be a genius or Einstein is utter fiction, said Chris Wright, a lawyer based in Los Angeles. We have succeeded with models no more accomplished than Melania Trump. While the majority of applicants and recipients have titles like space scientist, a cancer researcher, and software engineer, many have less scholarly pursuits. In 2012, Mr. Wright represented Shara Bichard, a Canadian model and Playboy playmate who successfully petitioned for an EB-1. In her petition, Mr. Wright included scantily clad photographs of Ms. Bichard. When it's a glamorous model and pictures show cleavage rather than research, people assume there is something underhanded going on, said Mr. Wright, who said that he had also obtained the visas for a race car driver, a hairdresser, and a tennis player. For Glenn Boswell, a stunt performer and director used to jumping out of buildings and moving vehicles, getting the EB-1 was a relative cakewalk. His lawyer filed a 439-page petition in 2016 detailing Mr. Boswell's achievements, which include credits in Unbroken, The Matrix, and The Hobbit, and he received approval within a week. I was really excited when it came, Mr. Boswell, 60, said in a phone interview from his native Australia. He had no idea he had joined an exclusive club. Daniel Riffner, 35, an acrobat for Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas, compiled a dossier in 2009 about his 25-year career, packed with medals, pictures of his high-wire acts, and recommendations from coaches. Kinan Azmeh, 41, a Syrian clarinetist in Brooklyn who is a member of Yo-Yo Ma Silk Road Ensemble, applied in 2012. Both received green cards. Mr. Trump has championed an immigration overhaul that would replace the current family-based system, which he derides as chain migration, with one based on merit, emphasizing skill and educational level. His proposal would have made it impossible for the First Lady to sponsor her parents for a green card, which she did after obtaining permanent legal residency and becoming a citizen herself. Meanwhile, highly skilled people, whether scientists or entrepreneurs, often get turned down when they apply to work and live in the country. Especially under the Trump administration, immigration lawyers said USCIS has made a habit of making requests for further evidence before deciding the fate of an applicant. The lawyers also said that scholars and scientists have a tougher time winning approval than models, actors, and athletes. Elissa Taub, a lawyer in Memphis who secured the EB-1 for the German gymnast, said that some of her denials burn me to this day, like that of a nuclear astrophysicist who had produced groundbreaking work at a national lab. Immigration officials said his title on the job was not senior enough to merit the EB-1. We lost a great scientific mind due to this crazy decision, she said of the scholar, who returned to India. In another case, USCIS acknowledged that a Chinese researcher had fulfilled 3 criteria to qualify, but that scientists who have risen to the very top of the field have garnered citations numbered in the thousands, not in the hundreds, as he had shown. He was denied. Despite ample documentation and detailed letters from world-renowned experts supporting the petition of a molecular oncologist who studies drug-resistant cancer, USCIS questioned whether her scholarship was significant. After her lawyer submitted further evidence, she was approved. These are people we should be rolling out the red carpet for, said David Soloway, the lawyer who handled the case. Most people would readily say that it makes sense for someone who is extraordinarily skilled in the sciences to be admitted to this country, Soloway added. But in modeling, really?
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.